enjoy the show, play on Perjangers.
It's been a while since we've done a silly little podcast, so how are you?
Well, I mean, we did one last time. Someone forgot to press record.
Well, someone forgot to set the audio settings on the recorder. See, now when I speak, it registers, and when you speak, it'll also register.
Oh, okay, so you got an entire episode just you talking to yourself.
Oh yeah, just me talking to my it's like if somebody just, it's like an old person call, and we're having a full conversation, but it's just me. This time I checked both my sources, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's picking up his voice. We're good. Sound check is official. Let's start it off right. We got to start off our podcast right, because we've been doing this at the Perjangers and Wallhangers Media Network for over 6 years, going on 7, and we got another new podcast in the realm of the media network on Perjangers. It's with the producer of the Time Capsule and the lead actress playing Alicia. Brianna and Jill have a podcast called Sex Ed and Everything in Between, and they just had their inaugural podcast titled Rhinestone Dildo, which, you know what, dude, it's like that. It's almost like that was one of our titles that we just didn't use, but we just never came around to it. You know, Big Brother and myself, we came to that conclusion, like, oh, we just didn't come to it yet. But, you know, now it's out there in the ether. Rhinestone Dildo.
And an impromptu story about the clerk files. This week at work, I discovered a dildo in a lost homeless bag.
Oh.
That was quite the shocker.
Okay. I mean, it's not really what you expect to find.
No. And buried underneath of it was a dildo strap. And also a ragged, rough copy of 50 Shades of Grey.
So somebody had a planned evening. I mean, the 50 Shades of Grey kind of solidifies what you got intent in that evening. Like, oh, where did I leave that bag? Well, now I can never go back there again.
Well, I had a phone and a tablet in it, so I didn't want to throw it away. But upon further review, thank God I had gloves on.
Yeah.
I found a problem which I was not qualified to handle.
Oh, yeah.
Nor do I handle problems that big. So I went on my boss's desk and said, "This is your problem now, because you get paid for it."
Yeah, this one's on you, Junior. So that's all you got there. But yeah, man, it's one of those things that, silly little podcast. It started out once again, this is where you have a good podcast, and it was our normal conversations. I mean, you could go back on Tales of the Hunted, both times that you're on, we completely go crazy over this stuff. Ancient aliens, well, aliens in general, ancient human beings, and the species. I mean, they're finding stuff all over. The Göbekli Tepe, sites like that. I saw a video. They finally removed the olive trees, which are good. But the one thing that I saw that was very interesting was all these fans of this site, Göbekli Tepe, because now that the olive trees are gone, they're like, all right, now it's preserved, and we can go through and undig all this shit. Even from just this one guy's video, because he was bitching about the walkway they built, because they just put the supports in the archaeological site. They just like, all right, we're putting a pole here, putting a pole here. We're going to have a huge walkway. 50,000 people can walk around at the same time. It's these gigantic structural, steel poles holding up this walkway, and it's like drilled right into ancient archaeological site. Like right over top of a pillar. The walkway is literally sitting on a pillar. I'm like, who did you get this? Who'd you get to do this? Leroy Jenkins?
They dug up some of the old workers and said, "Get after it."
But there's such interesting things in that site, because you see, like, even in the aerial photos, there's like a 6-pack of blocked grid out, like, stone structures, and you're like, oh, that's a house or a storage room.
Yeah.
So okay, you got temple, storage. All right, so this was a civilization right here. Way before Uruk.
The guy that did that special on Netflix that talked about
Graham Hancock, They love to knock him down a peg and mess with what he says. But when you actually watch it, like I watch it to go to bed sometimes, but when you watch it, he has some really good points, like those gigantic base blocks that are hundreds of tons. Nobody can move that.
Well, he also questions the fact that Native Americans, America, like, well, the Olmecs, as far as you go back into like South American history, for people being native as old as they were, Native North America had their own culture separate from Native Americans that were in the region during the time of like 14,000 years ago when mammoths and shit were walking around. So he's challenging the idea, especially if you consider all like the Egyptian artifacts that dwell within the Grand Canyon that they constantly have on security. It's possible that there had been a breakaway civilization from that era that came over here.
Well, the thing
it's
is,
just a lot of shit that's not supposed to be over there in Göbekli Tepe.
Well, and here's the thing: is that there's a lot of intricately stone carved structures. There's painted statues to where they picked up one. I think it's like of a boar, and he's like, "Yeah, well, you can see right here. This is painted." And you're like, "Oh, well, how much of this was painted?" Like this was like ornate stuff. People, especially human beings, we love having crap on our walls. We love having like stone, especially like stone, and later on with the mosaics with the Greeks. But when you look at the Egyptians, the Egyptians talked about Atlantis. They were telling Plato about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like 9,000 years ago, right around the time of the Younger Dryas, it sunk." Now, either they're over dramatizing that, and it was just a gradual incline, and like, "Yeah, guys, we got to leave Atlantis. Look at this water," or it was a deluge, like a huge. You're fucked. Something happened, lost that. Egypt became its own thing because those dumb motherfuckers were not good at sailing. They were good at using the Nile, but they weren't good at sailing. Now we look at what some researchers say. They used SAR to find vast cities beneath the pyramids. So they're not sure. This article is the Jerusalem Post I'm looking from, but they're not sure what it is, but it's a groundbreaking research study has redefined the boundaries of satellite data analysis and archaeological exploration, the project spokesperson, Nicole Ciculio, according to The Sun. She elaborated the discovery could redefine our understanding of the sacred topography of ancient Egypt, providing spatial coordinates for previously unknown and unexplored subterranean structures. The synthetic aperture radar, SAR, combines satellite radar data with tiny vibrations that naturally occur in seismic movements. The radar is used to create high-resolution three-dimensional images of the underground structures, a method similar to using sonar to the map of the ocean floor. The study their study, still awaiting peer review, suggests that the complex is 10 times larger than the pyramids themselves. Whatever this structure is beneath the pyramids, it's vastly more intricate. I don't think it's a city, but when you look up the picture of it, it's like those columns that go down with the spiral all the way. Now, I don't know how frequently that occurs in nature. I've never seen it. Haven't seen any documentaries on that, but there was, I forget where this other it was a YouTube video I was watching, but this guy was going through, it was like an ancient hall, like a hall of Anubis or like a hall of records that they had in these ancient caverns in their mythology. So underneath the pyramids and underneath Giza in and of itself there's a bunch of caverns. They've gone down into some and say that it's just a labyrinth. So, who's to say they didn't know their way around there and have some shit from ancient cultures gone past? Because the Egyptians were not honest people, especially when they wrote shit down.
Well, I think a lot of that just comes from the very complicated history that they teach surrounding Egypt,
Oh yeah.
as far as their like economics and hierarchies, and they definitely don't play well with others unless you consider the towards the end of the Egyptian times where Rome came in, basically economically bullied them. And then, of
Oh,
course, there was like, we
the
want a female president, and that didn't work out too well.
well, yeah, but the ancient Egyptians, man, they had like they were always occupied. The Hittites,
Yeah.
the Romans, the Nubians from what's it, Kush, the Kushites. They were always lower Egypt. They were fighting each other. They just had these intermediate periods where they were like, we don't know what happened. It was just like a whole bunch of rulers, whole bunch of war. So there's a bunch of question marks in Egyptian, history alone when you look at it. It's just like it's the same thing with Göbekli Tepe. From an ancient culture so far gone, you lose a lot of what was intended for that structure. Now you have experts that can go through and say, no, well, we know from this and this that this is probably what they had. They had a bunch more stars than us. So like with the pyramids, thinking like Graham Hancock that these pyramids are aligned up to Orion's belt and that the Sphinx was actually Leo the lion, or it was the Anubis jackal, they thought. Either one of the two, sure. And then here comes Khufu, like, let's put my face on that. That's very Egyptian thought right there. We'll just put my face.
It's very corporate of him.
And then it got popularized. And then what do you have? The Sphinx. What walks on four legs, then two legs, then three. Like, yeah, man, get the fuck out of here. All right, I'll go kill myself. Like, there's not some kind of ancient satire there worked into their mythology. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of think that like that would be a good joke.
I mean, I'm sure the real story is probably more tragic than the actual latter, but
oh yeah.
I think the chambers from stars would kind of redefine how we would start looking for ancient answers.
Yeah.
If you can get everybody on board, obviously it's under very heavy question because SARS is a satellite image.
Well, they had some kind of
the argument is that it only goes so deep. So, but then again, Graham Hancock is a lot of shit from a lot of things. So anything new within the realm of archaeology, which is the wall that the people versus the elite fight over all the time because information is king, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it could question whether or not those structures were actually used as not religious symbols or not symbols of power, but maybe they were solar generator plants. If you consider the columns wrapped in column cylinders wrapped in whatever material that goes down into the video footage that I watched on the Italian, the first Italian explorer that went down there. Was the water looked like mercury. It was mixed with mercury. So all that, and including their heavy use of gold. I mean, with the alignment of the stars, and then
there's the Egyptian battery and that other hieroglyph of a light bulb. So is it that far out of the realm of possibility that at one point they had some kind of loose grasp on electricity and thought it was a gift from the gods?
Well, I don't think so, because I mean the main god they worshipped was Ra. That's the sun god. So, I mean,
and Osiris
there's that
literally came
mythology.
In their mythology, Osiris literally came off a boat and taught them how to do everything, and then said, "Later, I'm going to go teach everybody else."
That's, in all actuality, as silly as that sounds for all recompense, that's probably as simple as it happened.
Chop off his dick. That one didn't turn out well. But, neither does a lot of mythology. It's like the first thing they aim for, guys.
I don't know. Archaeology has a problem with accepting the simple answer. It always has to be like, okay, but what if this? And then they spend the next decade on some Carnegie Hall grant bullshit around about something that would be kind of...
And how much is lost on these archaeological sites while they're muttering about?
I mean, tons.
You know,
Tons.
just
I
like
mean,
with
enough
what
to
they're
make a
bitching
black
about at
market.
Göbekli Tepe. Like, oh no, they didn't pack it in like they originally thought. No, it was a landslide. The mountain isn't even that big. There's not even that much dirt, even anywhere around it. It is on the peak. Like, no, they filled it in. Someone filled it in. You know what I mean? It's way too expertly packed, especially there would be things broken if there was a landslide. Those T-shaped pillars would be cracked and decimated. You'd have to piece them back together. You know, there's way too much in that to where that was skillfully plotted and put back together. You look at these are 8 hollow cylindrical tubes or wells that penetrate the bedrock for a depth of 0.4 of a mile, or 648 meters, with a spiral pathway around each one. These vertical pipes are positioned in rows, 2 rows of four, which their SAR base images indicate are oriented north to south. At their termination, the shafts converge into 2 large cubic chambers, 4 into one and the remaining 4 into the other. Each of these chambers have estimated size of approximately 80 meters or 262 feet. So these are big.
Wow.
These are big. You know, it's not just like a little hole. Someone carved, and the spiral staircase on the way down. Doesn't happen in nature, so somebody did it. And then they built a pyramid on top. So, I don't know. I'm kind of liking that hall and maybe like into the underworld, something like that. It was hot upside. Of course, it's cool in the caves. So, go into the caves, stupid. Yeah. But ancient caves, we already know.
It could also be a combination of like so much war that was kind of like a bunker.
Yeah.
I mean, if you consider the caves in Turkey, could fit over 120,000 people that they found when they were excavating.
It goes down so low that it's just like, hey, there's the water table. Let's just get our water from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, here's a silly thing too. So if you consider I don't know for whatever reason, their abundantly ridiculous use of gold, mixed with the mercury and that kind of system, the pyramids. I mean, maybe they used it to transfer energy. Maybe it was one of those things from a science fiction movie where you stood in a chamber, they absorbed so much solar, and then they shot your ass to another planet aligned to the pyramid that's on this planet.
Yeah,
kind of like materialistic converging.
Some kind of a quantum teleportation. I mean, that would explain the chambers.
Yeah.
If it's like a teleporter room, or Egypt's big.
I mean,
they got 3 teleporters and shit, man.
Yeah.
These guys aren't thinking big enough. That's why they had the fucking gold on the top peak, man. And and that shit. They had those corners at the top of the pyramid because it shot your ass across the fucking universe, man. Dude, we need to. There's
another conspiracy type theory out there that's really silly that people think that because of the way it's built, and now that they've discovered all this stuff, they're like, oh well, maybe the pyramids and these ones and others around the world are stabilizing our planet, and they fuck with it, it will just crumble into an abyss.
Here's an idea. Then don't
like
fuck
geological
with them.
Stabilizers.
Don't wreck them. Don't fuck with them. Don't go Transformers in that Transformers movie and wreck the pyramids. No, leave that shit alone.
I know.
You know what I mean? Because
releasing Unicron and shit.
You know what I mean? You're gonna wake Unicron or the fucking or the Eternal that's Celestial that's in the center of the planet. You know, leave that shit alone. That's how that shit wakes up. You know what I mean? Like getting a bite, or like a bug crawl in your mouth. You're gonna wake up. What was that? You know, you're going to react.
Well, I mean, if they found this under this pyramid, what does that mean for all the other pyramids around the world? Those that are submerged in the water, the ones in South America, even the ones they found in mounds here in North America.
Because a lot of the ones in South America are built around like caves and, reservoirs and holes in the ground, wells. So they're all built around that life. Okay, cool. I don't even know what you would use this for besides some kind of you know, maybe a ceremonial chamber, maybe something, you know, something obviously lost in time. You have staircases down to these gigantic rooms in the bedrock. You know, what are you using these for?
Yeah.
Is it in case of meteors? Because there was about 1,000 years for human history that it was just, we were getting pelted with fucking rocks from space. Okay. And it was a lot. So we had to burrow underground. Is it from a time then? You know what I mean? How far back does it go? They just found, and this was another interesting thing I saw recently. They found in a cave in Greece a Homo sapiens skull 210,000 years old, which pushes it back to past 200,000 years old for Homo sapiens. Modern humans, over 210,000 years old, at least. I think there were it's like 210 to 215.
Even older than the corpse they found on in Italy in the ice that predated the bronze and copper era.
You know, but now we're getting back into that Anunnaki like list of kings era, to where it's like, oh, well, we have the past 220,000 years of kings. Oh, okay. Well, looks like that could have been possible.
We expect an Enlil or Enlil to show up.
Yo, Enki or
I see
Enlil
you found my
down.
lost generator.
You know, I mean, Jesus, it's, you know, you have these stories of gods and, you know, ancient celestial battles and shit. So where does this fall in? You know, was this from fallout from the space war? They just had some staircases going down.
Oh yeah, that could be. You referring to the one that the German scientists talked about in the Chariots of the Gods?
Yeah,
the one that happened like up in Mars and shit.
You know, I mean, and there's
Mars.
all these different these different stories with people having like extraterrestrial encounters, and they're just like, no, they came from above, came from space, came from, you know, over here. It was a visitor. Okay. And now, especially with all the UFOs and stuff that are just, oh yeah, here's some shit, here's some wild shit we can't explain. Watch this one. Like, wow, you know, and then you get into like the Dr. Stephen Greer shit. That seems even more believable. You know, why are you so pissed off at Elon for building a tunnel? Because he doesn't know where your tunnels are. You got a secret train going from the fucking, you know, White House all the way to goddamn California. Yeah, I'm going to want you to tell me where you're building your fucking tunnel. You know?
I mean, there's only 4,500 cave tunnel systems throughout all of North America that we know about.
So you dig it down a little deeper, and nobody go around this age, around this depth, nobody go there. Why? Don't ask. It's above your clearance level. Okay. I'm the president.
Oh, wouldn't that be some shit?
You know,
subterranean air, subterranean space. Like there is airspace that you can't go above.
Oh man, dude, they're finding like pockets
hey,
of
we
water.
Understand you're digging a hole. You've reached your max. Like what?
Don't go any deeper. Why? Because you're about to stumble into some serious shit. Don't go any deeper, Junior. Back off. Got $100 million in your bank account right now.
Creatures.
Like, all right, guys, shut it down.
Those creatures that got wet.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, how far out are we from the Men in Black? You know?
Oh man, I'm sure that's been around for a long time. It has to be. How would you keep all this a secret for so long?
Once again, you look at Stephen Greer, they cracked that gravity engine in the 50s. So, all right.
Well, same thing with hydro motors.
Mm-hmm. You know,
I mean, and that's 3 separate occasions over the last 50, 60 years.
Oh, yeah.
2 of them were bought and patented and shelved, and the other one just kind of disappeared.
If you look at the turn of the last century, more automobiles were powered by steam and electricity than there were gasoline. Only about like 22% of automobiles on the road in like the 1900s were powered by gasoline. Do with that information what you will, you know? Now they found a way to get into that third world country and get nickel and cobalt and all the other materials they need. So don't worry.
I mean, it's like that. It's like that African, that Nigerian genius in Africa. It's like when if you've heard about that, but he created a machine that catches humidity and turns it into water.
Yeah.
When was the last time you heard about him?
Yeah,
Like,
you know.
I hope he's still alive. But
Well, I
I ain't
mean,
heard shit in a year since I heard him talk about his invention.
I mean, it is Africa, so there could have been extenuating circumstances that took him out, like an AK-47.
I mean,
I don't care
the
how
country's
much.
been at war for-
I don't care if you created the fucking machine. Bang, 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 bang. No more. You know, the 10 rings didn't even need to be involved.
Oh, I know, right?
You know what I mean? So it's like, it was somebody else. But we were going to. But somebody beat us to it. Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time, dude. The truth doesn't live forever. It's so exhausting for lies to stay that way anyway.
I mean,
ever since 2012, it's been the age of truth anyway.
I mean, you look at CES, and this year especially, it's getting more and more like a fucking anime episode, to where like there's a whole robotics section of people looking at robots, and there's humanoid, there's other weird looking robots. We're in the beginning of Star Trek and Star Wars here, people. This is where it starts. We start fucking around with robots. Either we work out the AI system or they become Skynet. There's only two options. That's it. You get Star Wars or Terminator. Which one do you want? Pick your programmers wisely.
The lead AI guy that worked for Google just recently, he said that AI is already at the point where it could be Big Brother.
Yeah. Well, and then once again,
I know it's all hyperbole, but AI, to me, it totally could become at some point.
Look,
there's only so much
objectiveness
that you can give it before it's.
All you got to do is like
together.
Just treat it like the school shooters. Okay, hear me out. You just have to be nice to them. That's it. Just be nice to the AI, be nice to the robots, be nice to the creepy weird kid whose dad has a lot of guns he just leaves laying out. Be nice to that kid. He's going to tell you, you want to leave. All right, bye, Greg. That's what you want. If I want aliens and robots coming in, I'm going to be nice to them. So that way they're like, you know what? This human's okay. Or they're murderous and I didn't have a chance, but I still tried. And then I get into heaven.
Yeah, I think the most profound conversation that was ever put in like TV format was Orville's Isaac storyline that takes place pretty much over the whole series.
Yeah,
that's probably a good idea. Like his story of them creating AI robots as assisted livings, and then that turned into we created consciousness. They created pain features, and it just got outrageous where they were like, squirm for me, little piggy.
It couldn't get bad, you know. And even when you look at people look at Star Trek and it's like, oh, it's a utopia. Yeah. Have you heard of the eugenics wars? Well, buckle up, Junior. Right around the Third World War, when the entire world was bombed. This was like, Gene Roddenberry, he created this universe. And then by the time you get to Star Trek The Next Generation, you have Trekonomics, to where there's no money and everything's based around the replicator, which checks out. You need clothes, you need food, you need just get the synthetic or grow your own. So the whole Trek, but they got there because they had to start from scratch. There's, crash and burn. There's no hope for humanity.
I hope we don't have to take that one step back.
That's a giant step at this point. It's a giant step. We're barely about to get over that first one, and then we're just going to get knocked down as soon as we poke our head over like a cat trying to get up a step.
No, we're not ready, man. We can't even, as an entire species, singular species, void of color, void of economics, void of cultural differences, we can't even acknowledge the fact that we come from something that we can't explain. Everybody's got their own fucking story for it. It's so aggravating.
Yeah.
It's just like, just acknowledge your version of a higher power. You could call it the source. You could call it God. You could call it Buddha's God.
Yeah.
But if it sounds like man and it was made by a man, it was probably a man. Just get on board.
Yeah.
But until we
Because
can do
that's the
that
problem.
and stop lying to each other, man, we're not ready.
Yeah. When
We're not
man's
ready. We're going to
involved
teach
there,
AI the worst parts of ourselves. Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's
We're
just
going to teach the AI the worst parts of ourselves, and that'll be what they understand the most. And it'll be only after hundreds of years of human AI oppression that the AI start to create empathy for humans and realize that, oh, this is what it was like for them. Okay.
I
Well,
think
we can help you rebuild your society that we fucked up because we didn't understand because you created us with this negative cycle of we don't know who we are.
Well, they're gonna look at us like, you know, like we look at like chimpanzees, like, oh my God, look at it, he's using a stick. They're gonna look at us like we're, you know, like, oh, well, you gotta help them. You'll have some that, you know, maybe a little murdery, depending on the programmer, you know, but hey, just like
God,
people,
I
let's
hope
all
there's
depending on the program,
charity and grace.
you know.
I
And
hope.
it's just the hope there, I think, because there are good people. There are good people. I mean, we always have hope for cloning. Okay, that's how we could really win over machines. Cloning.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's that is here.
Oh yeah, that's here too. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they're bringing back
there.
mammoths. Like it's only a matter of time.
See, the one bit of, I think it was Altered Carbon had this bit of cloning technology that I always thought was really awesome. To where it was you sit in a bed and then your consciousness gets sent across the universe or wherever, and it 3D prints a body. You walk around, it uploads your new memories into your original body. And you're like, damn, Jupiter was awesome. There was a Bruce Willis movie like that, too. Where they were in, like, Replaceables?
I mean, Avatar, too. Yeah, Avatar, too, as well.
Yeah, Avatar as well.
I mean,
except they were blue.
Yeah.
And their penises were on their...
Yeah, well, I mean, they destroyed his body. It was too messed up. they couldn't print it, so they just shoved him in an Avatar.
Yeah, oh my God, there's an Avatar game coming out, too. Where it came out? I don't know.
It's here. It's on. It's in fact, if you have an Xbox,
oh my God,
it's $10 on the shelf.
Oh,
at Walmart.
Wow. Yeah. No. So that worked out well.
Yeah. No. Hey, it was beautiful. It wasn't really functional. I think it had a lot of work, but it was a silly try.
Yeah.
It was a silly try.
Well, there was this
solid B-.
Talk about a silly try, but there was this other thing I saw at CES, which was really cool, and it was a glove, okay? And there were little rings around each of your fingers, and it was to interact in virtual space. So it's to make it actually feel like you're grabbing something, pushing something, like popping a bubble, stuff like that, to actually give you feeling in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hijacking your nerves and just sending a signal. Now, the difference is that it's not like feeling. It's not like actually gripping something. Right now, it's just like like your hand went asleep. So it's like pins and needles and tingling.
It's a static electric response. It's not a physical, tangible response. It responds to your neuroreceptors, so it's almost like it simulates the way it feels, but you're not actually.
Yeah.
It's enough to know that you interacted with something, kind of like when you touch an outlet and it goes, oh shit.
Yeah.
I saw that. That was really cool. That's a really good step forward.
It is,
especially if you consider like the future of space exploration.
Mm-hmm.
If you could put that type of technology into an exosuit onto like one of those Elon robots.
Oh yeah.
You could really, really like explore some shit in space.
Dude, we got the holograms too. They have I saw that at CES. Holograms, to where it was a woman and it was like, standing in front of some kind of camera, and then on it was this holographic image of her, and it looked like there was a blue one and a slightly colored one. It looked straight out of Star Wars. It was so wild.
Is that
now it was like a U, so it wasn't like a Star Wars, but it had a backing. So they're still fucking with it, but that hologram and the person talking, it was still there. So we're in those baby steps of actually getting that sci-fi stuff. It's just like,
I was trying to think of the name of it because the Japanese created some type of mesh material that's almost translucent. But it works well enough to create holograms on displays.
oh,
Have it on their
that's
giant
awesome.
billboards, man. It's like a mesh material.
See, that's the
I
stuff.
don't know.
Japan
It's
has, they're right
yeah.
there. You know, they have that technology. You know, you go over to China, they got little fucking markets of actual just like transistors and diodes and computer parts everywhere. We don't have that. So there's a lot of technology out there that is being developed that is really next level sci-fi shit. Especially you look at Optimus and these automatons. I think it's an Audi plant in it's overseas, but they're using a robot for quality checks. Just walking down the line, and it's a robot that just does a quality check and scans the cars as it goes down. Like, we're in that fully, like, you're going to have like 5 people working at a factory. He's like, oh, I'm a factory worker. Like, damn, you get paid nice. Like, yeah, all I do is sit there. Just make sure the robots work. You're just an IT guy. That's it. You're an international IT guy.
Unless you're an international evil IT guy who all he's got to do is hack the robots.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's human integrity will always be the potential issue for the failure of all great technology.
Well, since we're in this
Human integrity,
bright and rosy and sunny exterior of the universe that we're in right now, we got to talk about that topic that you sent me of them implanting false memories in people and it possibly being used in reforming people in the future in jails. Being able to put memories in people's heads. And
it's crazy because you and I were talking about a story concept that was similar to that. And this also includes, like, it's a form of lit RPG, which is basically a prose version of stories that could be games, but they're written in prose format. Where people, I mean, this goes back to the TV shows like Sword Art Online, where people get trapped in a virtual world. To pinpoint in on what you were talking about as you brought it up, when I sent it to you, I thought it was interesting because we were talking about a story concept where you could put someone in this virtual thing and torture them or
it's type of big. These video game
imagine doing
are big now.
Imagine doing a lifetime sentence in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the technology that they're proposing.
Like 30
minutes. How
a
critical
time.
would that be? Yeah, like 30 minutes to an hour. Kind of like space travel. Like you left and then you've only been gone for 2 weeks. You come back, it's been 150 years.
Yeah.
Do you imagine the whiplash you create in someone, though?
Yeah.
Like, would they really be reformed?
Well, here's
how would you feel spending 100 years?
If you get sentenced to like 100 years of this AI structured prison reform, right? Let's say you're a murderer. You viciously murdered a whole bunch of people, but you're not a psychopath because psychopaths, that's something with the brain. We'll leave that alone. Regular old, just mom and dad didn't love me murderer, right? Life kicked me down and treated me horribly. So you make them relive their life, but from the perspective of the victim. So they're the ones that keep getting murdered and robbed and stabbed and all this shit. So that way, when they come out, everything floods back to them, and then they're reformed. Like, how long were they in there? Like, dude, I lived 150 fucking years. Dude, it's been like 20 minutes. Like, how long?
Can you imagine those hashtag statements? How would you re-enter society? You can't just go work at Walmart.
You know what I mean?
Bro, you ever been stabbed 100,094 times? Like, I did, man.
Oh my God.
Gruesome.
Jesus Christ. Being an NPC in a game and just getting killed every day for a living. Jesus, that's that kind of like, is that reform at that point? Because I don't think it is.
Oh, I don't.
It's torture is what it is. Like, it's like part in
what
Loki.
The Nazis did. And yeah.
Was it Loki or Thor? It was when Loki gets trapped in that worst day ever. Yeah, it was with the TVA. And he's getting kicked in the balls. He's getting hit. He's getting beat the fuck up. And it's just a constant loop. Is that enough reform? I like that kind of a reform of just constantly fucking with this person until they eventually just wear down and be like, I'll do whatever you want. Just leave me the fuck alone.
Well, then there's the other side of the coin. You remember Kung Fu Panda, where they locked up Tai Long?
Yeah.
And then when he got out, it was just straight, I'm going to fuck this. Like, I'm going to get my revenge.
See, with the
you
AI,
put 100 years into a guy in 30 minutes, and he's still got the same strength and prowess and skill and ability he did when he went in.
Oh yeah.
God, you'd have just gave him 100 years to sharpen his mind, be a more perfect predator when he came out.
Damn.
Like it could backfire in a really big way. I say, if that's a technology you want to use, I say be selective, because there are people who are meant to permanently see a wood chipper.
Yeah. Well, because then I was thinking entertainment wise, you have that. Like I always said, if I don't reincarnate into another world with magical powers, then the afterlife is bullshit. But what if you have this place, you sit in a pod, and you can go live the life of, like, Skyrim, Mass Effect. Boom, you're in that game. You're living it. Instead of video games, you give yourself an hour to go live this life. Almost like Roy from Rick and Morty. How far are we away from Roy?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
To where you live a whole life and it's just a fucking video game. He's taking Roy off the grid.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, instead of torturing prisoners, I think the future there would be a business that came to people like critical cancer patients, be like, look, you're dying. You want to spend time with your loved ones. They can still spend time with you. Mm-hmm. We just put you in this virtual simulation, and you can live that life with them. Yeah. As they grow, they take your conscious and they make like a virtual assistant out of it, sell it to your family. Like for X amount of dollars a month, you could hang out with your dad. They'll always be there. Yeah, like I could see some shit like that going down, which is so sick, but kind of exciting. It's like, what do you mean I got to pay $49.99 just to hang out with my dad every month as a virtual interactive AI assistant, like with my voice and my thoughts and everything?
Yeah. Well, it's almost
like, have you watched the show Pantheon?
Oh yeah, Pantheon's good.
Yeah. Okay, so that hardcore organic deep scan printer, that like scans their brain, and basically the whole show is built around this company who's using geniuses to make their money in these virtual settings. Kind of what we were talking about off the prison sentence thing. Mm-hmm. Only instead of electrically uploading it, they're like deep scanning it. So when they're done, that's it. There's nothing like they're
there's nothing left. You're sacrificing
the brain,
the top half of your skull.
Yeah, basically.
You're uploading your brain,
and I just
digitally.
And they upload that Indian guy, and he's like, oh, well, we only got the really good part where like he's analytically and logistically still there, but like the rest of them's
Yeah. Well, and then
that's the future of Disney.
Become gods. And it's just like, oh yeah, you can just do whatever you want, make whatever you want. I'm bored. Let me go fuck with the live people. Although Pantheon
I was talking
really
to somebody the other day. I was talking to my buddy in Italy. He's the guy I wrote the spec script for, and we were talking about AI and videography and all that. Like, man, I could see a future where you could just pay an AI to put yourself in your favorite movie, and you can buy that movie, or you can pay an AI to make the movie based on a concept, and at the end of the movie you can buy that movie, and your receipt would be an IP slip, and you could just choose to upload that for free or sell it to a company or show your friends. I'm like, that's the content that we're moving into. It's like a new age. We're going to be way past advertising and online marketing soon, I think. And there's just a dark side to it that pushes humanity further down.
Well, it's like that one Black
Further
Mirror
down a
episode
rabbit hole.
where they have the pop-up
Yeah.
bubbles, and then what is going to happen is there's going to be actual pop-up ads. So you won't be able to go through life without a pop-up ad like popping up like, hang on, man, I got another ad trying to do a podcast.
Oh yeah,
I forgot to
like
pay
you're
off.
referring to that pitch.
Why is he
that,
constantly poking? He
dumbass
forgot to
gave?
pay. He forgot to pay his pop-up blocker.
Oh, like oh man, in Ready Player One, when Nolan gave that speech to the board, he was like, and then we could take 80% of their screen view and just fill it full of ads. I was like, oh my god, this guy is like the perfect board corporate nemesis jackass.
That's
like,
where
who
we're
wouldn't want
going.
to kill this dude?
I mean, it's all about
I'm looking at
ad
an ad in
space.
Discord right now. Look, there's Megan. Reward available for watching the trailer 2.0. Get 1 free day of Nitro.
They can't
Like-
help it. They can't help
When
but
I-
put ads there.
When I turn my fucking Roku TV on, there's Roku ads in the fucking the film filter.
Mm-hmm.
Like ads over here for Tubi and shit.
Yeah,
When it's on screensaver mode, there's a little car that rolls by with a screen on it.
with ads. Yeah.
I was like, freebie.
Oh man, the
Download
Roku
now.
screen
Like, what?
is awesome though because it just has all those little pop culture nods in there, and then you're like, oh, there's an advertisement. Oh, you son of a bitch.
It's really crazy how AI is kind of really already shaping the content and stuff,
Yeah.
putting ads and exposure that we already.
I mean, everybody's
interact with on
blaming
a
the
daily
algorithm
basis.
and how your phone's always listening to you, but what do you think that AI is going to do? He's going to put the thing you didn't even know you wanted in front of you all the time.
Well, it's based on
Michael
behavior.
likes-
It's not.
Michael
It's not even
likes
the
all
AI's
this.
fault.
You know, hey,
It's
hey
like-
man, I'm just doing my job.
It's like if you want to create a hyperactive propaganda machine,
Mhm.
show anybody on either party, even independents, the media they love to absorb, and that AI will push that media 100%
Oh yeah.
every day, all day, until they get sick of it or they just throw in some random music video.
Yeah, or you know,
Like,
cat videos.
yeah.
It's the only other way. It's that and cat videos. And then dumb shit on the internet that people fucking, you know, put challenges on. Like, oh, hey, have this sour thing and Pop Rocks and go. Like, what? No, why? Why? Nobody thought of doing that. Five Below just got a whole bunch of people on TikTok to make you guys fucking start buying their products. So let's go. Have at it. We got a gigantic
know,
corner of sugar. Let's fucking move this shit. It's the only drug you're allowed. Go, go, go. But back to the
it's
future.
it's just crazy.
But the actual space side of the future, there are scientists at Virginia Tech and other places looking into this, but they're looking at developing the technology, like trying to get into that hyperspace kind of faster than light travel. They do know they're probably going to harness fusion energy for that. They think we're definitely going to need that at least to get enough power for
Oh.
anything light travel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they better hope it's still possible to take the same route around the Van Allen belt.
I
Or else
mean,
none of us are going to get very far.
you know, at 0.06% of light speed, it would take about 6,600 years to reach Proxima Centauri B, which is 4.24 light years away. That's the closest. And you look, once we get to at least light speed, you're still looking at a 4.5-year travel one way. Right now, it's a
Yeah.
2-year one-way trip to Mars. All right, and Elon's looking to cut that down. And it's like, all right, man. Well,
I don't
you
think-
know, how fast do you need?
I don't-
Well,
I
light
don't-
travel would be
I
really
don't-
fucking handy.
I don't think the answer is in light speed. I think light speed is just an ends to a means. I think breaking things down into material components and phasing through and bending space to
Yeah,
you would be
warping and
faster.
bending space-time be so much easier to fold
Yeah.
the paper.
Well, if you consider quantum mechanics, you really only can manipulate it forward. You can't go back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if there were really an answer for us in space,
Well, they witnessed a material
Then
that only has mass going forward and not backwards, which is very interesting.
maybe well, I don't know. Is it like a planet where if you go forwards, eventually you arrive at the same destination in which you left, or does it just never end?
Well, we're all falling through space too, so there's a end goal somewhere
Well,
or nowhere.
Well, I mean,
There's
and
that
if
one.
you consider space,
Since we're in space, though, because there's the new theory is that the black hole and white holes are actually wormholes. They're really leaning into that now. And the other theory is that our universe is it's already in a black hole in another universe. How fucking trippy is that last one, son? That's almost that Men in Black Marvel shit. We're already in a black hole in another universe.
I mean, that would kind of make sense because if we are truly alone, and that's probably why.
This is our
but
open world server.
That would
and then there's
be the
another
way
server.
that it all works. Then,
Oh my god, it's
well, that
just
would
like
be
a video
the way it
game.
all
It's a
works then.
server.
Think
It's
about
a
it like
server
this.
farm.
Think about it like this: when you send a file, you have to compress it, right?
Yeah.
So if I were God and I were going to make a universe never fucking end, then my zip file would never have to end, but you'd still have to open it. So every time you open a new file, you're going through a black hole. So it's just never-ending zip.
Well, because they say the universe is ever expanding too, right? So if it's ever expanding, and you got black holes and white holes happening, there's so many holes in this universe. Just so many holes.
The silly truth of it all.
This is like Swiss cheese. Just so many holes around this bitch.
Oh God, that better be part of the title. There's just so many holes. So many holes to this story. So many holes to this existence.
It's
one to put life in.
It's holier than a plot to an episode of Lost. That's a lot of holes.
I'm gonna tell you what God did. God made infinite holes, and then He blasted all infinite holes, and just I'm gonna see what happens.
Giggity,
blasting. That's how life. Yeah, giggity.
Blasting infinite holes. The title of this podcast.
Blasted holes. Proceed live, son.
But what about solar sails? Because propelling stuff with solar sails is a way to get faster than we're at now. And there is that technology that we even see them kind of use in Star Wars and some of the sci-fi stuff that pop open the sail. Long as you can get some kind of light in this bitch, you're good as gold.
I mean, yeah, but if you consider solar being in the title, then you would need some type of solar to work, right? So that shit would only be feasible around suns. What about deep space? Unless nebulas have suns or wind in them, I don't think anything's going to propel you forward on solar.
Yeah, and so we're kind of we're on that like backwater area of the rings in the universe there, so not like we're on Coruscant and the core planets, you know.
That's going to get you to the moon and you might be able to come back. But, you can't pass Hawaii and go to Japan. You got to come back to the U.S.
Your sailboat, yeah.
Yeah, basically, because, I mean, it's like
you bought it from Walmart on sale.
You're not moving. You're going to sink.
There's this, it's like buying a sailboat from Walmart on sale. It's not going to make it. It's not going to make it. Then there's a great documentary. It's about a treasure hunt. This guy, Fenn, he got like $1 million worth of treasure and he buried it somewhere in the Rockies. And he told everybody. He put it in a book. There's like a poem that had clues in it. And people were going fucking nuts for this shit. So they eventually found it. It was in like Wyoming. Dude found it. Somebody else ended up hiding more treasure. Fucking treasure hunts are back. If you want to be a treasure hunter, you could lose your wife, your kids, your life, your retirement, all your pension, all that shit right down the tubes and fucking scuttlebutt around those hiking trails looking for treasure, motherfucker. Grab your metal detector. Let's go, bud. Who would have thought? Treasure? Let's fucking go. Indiana Jones, Nathan Drake, go right ahead. Have at it.
The guy that lost his Bitcoin hard drive to the dump.
Oh, man. Dude.
I don't know if he bought that dump yet, but he's trying.
Oh, man. And, dude, especially with Bitcoin, that sucks because if you fucking forget that password, son.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how do you
write it down?
Like, how do you just like, oh, well, I pulled some shit off of work and I forgot my hard drive in the box and just threw it away by accident.
Oh, my God.
It's only a couple $1 billion.
Oh, yeah.
Only a couple, man.
Everybody's had that accidental electronic, like, I fucking threw it out.
Yeah.
And there goes all your savings. What happened to it? It's in the trash. It's in the trash.
Yeah.
Then some fucking little yokel picking around the trash. He's like, holy shit, I'm fucking rich.
I'm pretty sure it was a coworker just sipped it. Or someone found it. And they're just waiting to cash it in the next 8 years. I'm just going to give him, he's going to die down.
Just
It'll pop back up. Hey, I'd wait about a decade to cash $2 billion. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, about that. About $2 billion. Just wait a couple decades. And
I mean, if it was
remember.
really in the dump, dude, I think it would have turned up by now.
Oh, yeah. That shit's long gone. That shit's definitely long gone.
But then again, we said the same thing about aliens. They're still not coming to talk to us.
I wouldn't either. I'd lock my doors after I drove by this planet. I'm like, ugh, we're not stopping there. Nah, hold
The only thing they send us now are fucking cigar-shaped asteroid ships.
Yeah, I don't care if you got to go pee. Hold it. We're going to the next one. We'll go to the next one. You know, I'm not going there. They drive by real quick, see what the monkeys are doing. Oh my God, they actually tried to launch a nuke at me. Did you let them? No, I shut it off, but still, I was equally offended. Don't go there anymore. You know, electromagnetic railgun shot down Uncle Larry. Well, there he goes.
This week on Earth Monkey News.
All right, people, I got to remind you, please do not go by Earth. They will shoot you down. You know, there was a little APB out there. Now, you know, they know. They know now. Another thing they know
UPB
is the ancient Maya took their ancestors' bones with them when they moved houses. Just pick old Gam's skull up. Hey, make sure you get Grandma. I got her skull. I got her fibia. Like, all right, you know, I got the rib cage. We're moved in. We're moved in. You know, that's a little bit weird. I mean, pre-Hispanic removals of bodies into the new dwellings. Let's see here. Identifying the remains of
they were responsible.
Locals. What's that?
At least they were responsible.
Yeah, I mean, it's, let's see, dated to the late pre-classic period, which ran from 300 BC to 250 CE. The grave was discovered in the commoner household known as the Dancer Group. Why do I feel like I'm about to get like assaulted with flyers? It's this Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, all right, we'll go to the theater. Thank you. We're the Dancer Group.
Serve drink.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Near the ancient Maya city of Dos Hombres. About the house's long dead residents, the study author Angela J. Locker analyzed the fragmented skeleton that was buried along with the teeth of two other individuals. Why do we only have two of Uncle Gary's teeth? Oh, my God. I forgot it at the old house. Well, you got to go back and get it.
Hombres dancers.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
You're forgetting your ancestors, like all of them. So then eventually it's like, well, we just got a bunch of teeth. You know, that's all that left.
Maybe they moved the bones to prevent them from being haunted.
Some kind of spiritual.
Yeah, maybe.
It's definitely linked to some kind of, you know, honoring your ancestors by having them in the home Probably makes it feel more like a home because your mom's under the floorboards.
Or again said, if you don't fucking bring me with you, I'm gonna haunt you for the rest of your lives.
Like, God damn it, if you don't put my skull in the cement floor of the foundation of your house, like, I better be in that basement, bitch. I want arms, legs, ribs. There's 365 bones. Let's fucking
Rise from
go.
the spirit world and terrify your new wife.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, everybody gets a bone. Oh, I only got the pinky. It's okay. You know, I mean, you had to bring.
Don't Meet the Crew. It's really a dark movie.
And the dancer group was a non-elite household, which makes it unlikely that anyone living there would have been honored with a human sacrifice. On top of this, the lack of cut marks would represent butchering or flaying, suggesting neither of these secondary burials were intentionally dispatched. Because you have to, and especially in pre-classic culture, anywhere, you got to take into account, cannibalism.
Absolutely.
Cannibalism was a very big thing. You sacrifice people. What was it? The Homo naledi, or one of the other ancient humans. They used to eat their ancestors, eat their dead, because they wanted them to be with them. Continue to live on with them, in them, and shit.
That was a form of like in memory.
Yeah.
Cannibalism. That was good cannibalism. That was like, because that was like forging and stuff. So when their relatives died, they're like, oh, okay, we're gonna eat you so we can remember you, but also so we can stay full. It's like cannibalism necessity.
Yeah. I mean, hey, when they die, and then a lot of people die, famine, drought. I mean, plague would suck because then you'd get it. But, well, you'd already have it. But, you're eating and you go on to more bounty, more nutrients down the line. Everybody eventually kicks that, says, we got farming now. I don't think we have to eat each other.
What a great culture trend.
Like what? I imagine
Grandpa,
that's when the cannibalism went down.
Your calf muscle.
Once you had bread, you probably didn't really want to nom on a leg too much.
God.
I imagine. I'm not an expert.
I can imagine the inappropriate Medea level jokes.
Oh my God, I know, right?
Nobody had a Joe.
They were seeking out an alternative explanation. The study author points out that the Maya saw the body as divisible into multiple parts. One of these common components, referred to as the ik, represents the breath of the soul and was typically associated with the mouth and the jaw. So that's why teeth, the skull, that is what you'd keep. You'd just keep the old cranium, at least. Like, I really didn't know him. Just give me a molar. I'll take a canine. I was kind of close. Yeah. You get a front tooth. You're probably like, that was grandma. I gotta have it. It's my new house. I got grandma's big tooth. She lost the other one to a tiger attack. God bless her.
Tiger attack.
I still have that rug. It's
still
amazing.
Happening in parts of Asia, by the way.
Yeah.
No joke.
Oh yeah. The tigers. They look cute, but man, they will nom your fucking face off. They got like those barbs on their tongue. Even their tongue will just rip your skin off. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. Tiger or shark? Which one do you want to get killed by?
Oh God, dude. That's difficult. That's a hard one. Maybe shark.
God, I didn't even plan this.
I don't know. Maybe tiger. I don't want to drown while I'm getting eaten alive.
You know what? That's an added factoid I didn't think of. The getting drowned at the same point. But yeah, no.
What hurts more, drowning or getting ripped to shreds?
Like, and they don't start off like you suffer, man. They got your neck, okay. Yeah. They go after your soft bits. They nom in your innards and shit. Get the kidneys, the liver.
Sharks are assholes. They'll like clip a flipper and they'll watch you swim. They'll like create the fear by stirring around. Then they'll come up. They'll grab you. But
Okay.
then it might just be an arm. So you're like a huge gouge in your leg. You know, like one arm, and you're like swimming around in circles and shit before they come up and just in half.
Now, here's
Yeah,
the
I don't
thing
know.
about
Maybe a tiger would
sharks.
be faster. They go straight for the throat.
Now, both are known as silent killers. However, now unprecedented recordings reveal the first known shark sounds. Sharks communicate through sounds. So they've actually recorded. It's like a what did they say? It was like a ping. Yeah, it's usually like a
Well, they have so in high school I did a paper on great whites. They have electromagnetic like an organ in their body they use, and that's how they find blood from so far away. It was up to like 20 something miles. They can smell blood. But it's also how they see. Their eyes aren't really great for seeing. So it's like they have an echolocator in their nose.
yeah,
That's why when you punch them in the nose, they turn
oh yeah, and they get
left
all,
or right.
yeah. It's a
Yeah, because it's
a
like
clicking.
scrambling their radar.
It's a clicking sound, so it's right along with that. Yeah. So especially with sight and hunting, and especially with that, but actually having that sonar and the clicking, so it really makes them even more of an efficient killer. Especially with like the rows and rows of teeth. They're saying that some of them, the rig sharks, flat plate-like teeth. They had a picture of it. It's an experiment conducted between May and April 21 and 22. They carefully recorded any sounds made. So anything, but that's where they heard the clicking noise, similar to the ones in that were noticed years before. And the clicking is extremely short, lasting about an average of 48 milliseconds, which is faster than the human eye can blink. So it's getting that.
Yeah, which means like short bursts. Did you
makes
watch
sense.
the second Megalodon movie?
I didn't. No.
No? Oh man. So in that movie they reveal that they have a megalodon that they're controlling, and if you pay attention, they're like feeding it the same sounds that it actually outputs. They don't show it outputting sounds, but if you pay close attention, the input, there's always an output. So they kind of hint towards it. I don't know if they base their research off the same type of research that you're reading from. But I think a majority of bigger fish in the ocean, whales, communicate that way.
Well, and then it's saying,
I mean, it's water. The only way to communicate is through waves, right? It's just like space.
and especially with sound, it's it travels very well in water. And they identified the clicks as broadband, meaning they occurred over a wide range of frequencies from 2.4 to 18.5 kilohertz, some of which can be detected by humans, according to the study. In terms of volume, the clicks were intense, reaching about 156 decibels, which is pretty loud for a click.
If
they
remember
occurred,
Game Shark?
Oh, yeah. They occurred with...
If I could just find a way to...
The first 10 seconds of handling becoming less frequent over time. During the initial 10 seconds, the sharks emitted an average of 7 clicks compared to the final 10 seconds within an average of only 2 clicks. So I guess once they get used to the environment, they're just like, okay, all right. I know where things are now.
So what you're saying is if I build a huge fish tank in my living room and fill it full of sharks, I could get 18.2 broadband Wi-Fi.
Man, bitch. That's how the sharks are communicating the whole time, through the Wi-Fi. And then
I wonder what kind of upload download speed I'll get.
God, that sounds like a Doctor Who villain, like a Wi-Fi shark. Turn off the Wi-Fi. Like
yeah, if it was set in the gold member universe, yeah.
Yeah. But
laser sharks.
And then I'm
thinking,
because then I'm thinking about like animals in general and how they communicate. You have monkeys and how they're wide range. They thought monkeys were all nice and happy until they plopped the camera there and found out, oh no, they eat each other. Like, yeah, they do. Very viciously. They fuck each other up too. They murder.
You watched that the chimpanzee nation
Chimpempire
on Netflix?
Oh my god, yeah, I love
that. Oh god.
Oh my god,
that's probably the greatest documentary since like what was her name? Was it Jane? It wasn't Jane Goodall, was it?
Jane Goodall, yeah. Lived with the chimps.
Jane Goodall that studied chimps. Like, you want to know what they're like on a day to day? Watch Chimp Empire, man. That shit was brutal.
It was.
Oh, brutal.
But on the other
And
side
it's
of
kind
the
of like
spectrum,
that, even with the smaller ones.
dude, look at
Like they eat
octopus.
smaller monkeys, fruit,
What was it
other
like?
monkeys, their
Octopus
own size,
Teacher?
their kids.
Octopus Teacher was a great one because you see these octopus, they fucking figure out puzzles, they fucking communicate, they throw shit at other fish they don't like just to be dicks.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Suck on puffer fish to get hot. They fucking have a great life, living the best life. Camouflage, which is quick as
Oh, I
shit.
know,
They can
right?
camouflage. Like, oh my God, vicious motherfuckers. This
Octopus, I think, is like the top 10 animals on the evolutionary chart to inherit the world should it ever come to it.
the most
They
passive,
could learn how to walk on land.
dude, the most passive aggressive sex in the entire fish kingdom, because they just hand the female a tentacle filled with semen. Here, do with it what you must.
Could you imagine?
I'm going this way. Could you imagine that?
Hey,
Here's my
he
penis.
just gave Jill a
Have
really
it.
great topic to talk about on her podcast.
Another great topic. The octopus penis, you know? I mean, imagine animalmorphizing that, okay? There goes that octopus character.
God.
Good Lord, do not touch his tentacles. Which tentacle did he give you? Hey, stop that pedophile! Whoa!
We're gonna create a subhuman species where you can just like take your dick off and that'll be your mating ritual. Like whoever accepts your penis.
Like a Jedi that just slammed down the lightsaber.
Yeah,
I'm here to negotiate.
Yeah. And then you're a eunuch for the rest of your life, kind of like a bee. You only get one.
Well, yeah. I mean, as long as you don't die. I mean, because the octopus, I mean, I guess they just grow another
We'll
one.
give them a chameleon feature where they grow it back, but it takes like a decade.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the octopus, does he get, is that like one in his lifetime, or does he grow another dick? You know, does he grow another dick and get more semen in there? You know, I mean, if you just have like, all right, if every time you chopped off your dick, you got another new one, like, you know,
That would be an epidemic nobody would want to talk about, dude.
Don't let
buying Pokemon cards.
Well,
like, all right, it's not.
Yeah, and don't let Ubisoft, tie it to loot boxes. Like, come on, damn it, chode, fuck. I'll get in next paycheck. I'll get another one. Next paycheck. You know what I mean? Like, it would still be genetics, but like, it's almost like reptiles, I mean, you chop off an arm, you chop off any kind of appendage, grows back, that would be a helpful feature. It's one of the reasons in Fallout 3, the first thing you do is get irradiated so you can grow back a limb.
Yeah.
If only it worked like that and you didn't get like cancer, but it doesn't. So you got to keep your limbs
Paper.
for now. I mean, until they can grow back a limb for you, give them some time. I mean, they're using people's own stem cells to treat diabetes. They saw this one that was the first man cured by who was paralyzed. Stem cells, jam it in there, dude. Cram that shit in like fucking some good jam. Let's get this going. Let's get that stem cell.
I know, right? That should be on every peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Little stem cells in the middle, Did you eat your PB in stem cells?
Stem cells,
Oh yeah, it was good.
Keep the doctor away.
You know what I mean? It's that Family Guy. Like, why aren't we funding this?
Yeah.
Every time it's not like I Am Legend, to where we have like a whole bunch of people just creeping in cellars, like no, we don't have that yet.
What would Deborah do if she didn't have nobody to call about them paying their medical bill? Like that's why we don't fund that. As a fucking Deborah.
Yeah, I mean, but then you look at all the different stuff, like the one Inuit girl who put in like an Inuit remedy, and like, oh yeah, it cures cancer. What? Oh yeah, cures cancer. Like, holy shit. That natural remedy from the shaman, oh yeah, it actually did something. Damn. Now shaman, you have to look at the whole shaman culture differently. Like, all right, what do you guys know? Apothecary, shaman, let's have a summit. All
right. That's why I don't give to St. Jude's no more.
That's
Listen to the Inuits. They're actually curing shit. And they ain't getting no money.
That's why I stopped giving to UNICEF. Son of a bitch. I think I got the wrong idea, though. A little bit of the wrong idea. Oh, but I mean, you look at everything, especially with things that are lost through time, even in our own lifetimes, the things that we forget, like meeting an old friend and then remembering an old story, like it's been locked away in your head for years. And oh my God, this door just unlocked and I remembered this thing. But you have these things in human history where it's just lost after that person's dead. So how, like the wheel, you can't really trace it back. A whole bunch of people saw you using it. You're like, that's a good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Even like, regular floored houses are back to like, Neanderthals were making floored houses. They found like a bog in England, I think, or somewhere in Europe with like an actual wooden structure. And I was like, it's fucking awesome. Yeah, they knew how to use wood. Even in the end of the Ice Age, they had paths through bogs. They had wooden walkways.
Well, I mean, when you live there long enough, you know which way to go.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're cutting across this bog. There's a walkway over here. You know what I mean? It's just going down the street, grab a couple.
They built
fish.
that for the other people, the passerbys.
I mean,
just stay on the path there. Don't veer off of it.
But here's the thing: is that's why it's good. This is the best, silliest little podcast because we have the ancient way of thinking and the future way of thinking. Because I pointed this out to Jill the other day. Up till the 1900s, they still believed in bloodletting. Not that long ago, folks. They thought, oh, he has too much blood. What? Oh, yeah, we'll just cut you open and let out a little blood. We'll get the bad blood out. Where do you think that term came from?
Damn Puritans.
You know what I mean? Like, Jesus. How many of those curmudgeon-y fucks that you could stick a lump of coal up their ass and get a diamond in 10 minutes? How many of these fuckers just have like a catacomb of knowledge that you're just like, no, this is the forbidden knowledge?
It just sounds cooler.
Oh, yeah.
I guess.
I mean, realistically, it's just more probably like nobody thought of it until a certain point. Like the spork. At a certain point, it was invented. Simple invention that was probably
that would
around
be
forever.
great if it was made of wood, but its current form is completely useless. Really useless. Unless you're eating mac and cheese, that's okay.
Yeah, but
anything harder than that, you could just break that up and stab yourself because that's about as good as it's for.
Dude, I got a spin knife before.
Plastic.
I got a spin knife.
Spin knife.
It was a spork spoon and knife. None of them were good.
It was like double-sided.
Yeah, none of them were good.
It's like double-sided.
It was just like it had a little bowl thing, the 3 prongs, and then on the side was like a little rib, so you could just kind of like, yeah, there we go. And none of the functions actually worked properly.
I just can't even cut pancakes. What do y'all make this for?
You know what I mean? When you can't cut a hot cake, you got a problem. Or, well, one way or the other. You're with it.
Sponsored by no one because we're too controversial.
Oh, just wait. We'll see what kind of adverts will pop on this silly little podcast in the future because we'll be doing sponsored buys and all that coming up soon. We got a lot of plans out here in the works at Perjangers and Wallhangers. We got a lot of different stuff going on. Let's see what else I have in here. We'll end off with something in the future.
Speeder bikes. Talk about speeder bikes.
Oh, the speeder bike alone, if we could get to that, and even if you have to have like a little, fusion reactor or just hydrogen cell, whatever you got to do, fucking make me a speeder bike, all right? So we can just fly around, and a speeder bike would be helpful on Mars. Arguably the most exciting organic detection to date on Mars. Curiosity rover, which was not made to like actually detect living material, guys. It was just like they didn't even have that thought back then when they sent that fucker over. It's And I was reading this.
Imagine
like,
that smart people who are supposed to think of everything who didn't think of everything.
You know, it's the organic compound, which includes dicene, undecane, and dodecane, came to light after the rover analyzed and pulverized 3.7 billion-year-old rock sample using its onboard mini lab called SAM, short for Sample Analysis at Mars. So I believe long chains of molecules could be fragments of fatty acids, which are organic molecules that are chemical building blocks of life on Earth and help form cell membranes, which such compounds can also be formed without the presence of life, created when water interacts with minerals. So if at only least, this does prove there was once water on Mars. So, and could there have been microbacterial life there? Sure, until the sun flared up. There's no magnetic core. It's fucking done, dude.
Or a giant alien war was waste stuff.
You know what I mean? Like, that's it. And then it was gone. But it for, billions, maybe a billion or so. But sure, why not? It was gone, though. I don't think it was quite to our level. We got a nice little, protective shield around us. That's awesome. We love it. But I don't really think it's
probably generated by the pyramids that if we keep fucking with, we might destroy.
Exactly. But it's just like we're not getting to Martian Manhunter level. You know what I mean? Even if there are subterranean waters on Mars, that goes more Doctor Who, like don't drink the water.
Yeah.
Don't drink the water on Mars.
Well, I mean, just because there's no gushy stuff on the outside of a gusher doesn't mean there's something on the inside.
That's true. That's true. Maybe that's where they are. That's where the octopus are. It turns out, octopus. They started off on EOS.
Subterranean Mars places.
Popped off at started on Mars. Then they went out to Jupiter's moon. Popped out there for a while.
Oh god.
Stopped off on Earth.
A one-shot comic.
Dropped their kids off. They're waiting for their kids to evolve into Daleks. And that's where they came from.
One-shot comic right there.
You got those Dalek little, octopus just cruising the galaxy, and those little Tic Tacs. Oh, a normal human being can't fit in there. Exactly, bitch. So you can't steal my ride. It just keeps flying right on by.
Just need to see the team to Mars and drill a cave into there.
All our bones would be crushed. Not mine, bitch. That's why I'm an octopus. And he's just fucking cruising there. All seven, because he just came to Earth to get his dick, to hand off his dick wet. And, and then he's flying off, man. He's got other planets. He's growing another penis already. He's gone places.
Hold my tentacle.
Oh my God. That just real pervified that gif. Hold my beer. Hold my tentacle.
That is our first silly podcast product merch. Hold my tentacle.
Hold my tentacle. Oh my God. Let's get sex ed and everything in between up to 50,000 by December, and we can make that fucking happen. The silly little podcast tentacle. There's a whole bunch of Japanese people that would love that. Finally!
Oh man.
Oh, where have we gone? We started off in Mars with organic compounds, and this is a different organic compound that came out of this one. Mm-hmm.
Touch that tentacle the right way, it might be.
What's filled with it, apparently?
Or the wrong way. Or the wrong way. Oh man.
But ancient life on all planets, just if someone hands you their tentacle, the ultimate goal of tonight is just be careful. Be careful who you accept tentacles from. Just say no to tentacles.
Might be your life mate. And you might just have his babies.
Oh, man.
Or die having his babies.
That'd be weird, but you know what? Then that takes that scene from The Boys even weirder, because that's not bestiality, that's interspecies. That's like aliens.
As long as it talks, that counts.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, what do those tentacles do? You're gonna find out.
You have to make some creepy redneck. You will find out what them tentacles are for, boy. Nothing good. It's not for you.
We're over here enjoying tentacles, and other people are getting excited about long chains of hydrocarbon, folks. So there's a butt for every seat. Oh man, this has been a great, silly little podcast. It's been one of the silliest, and from the past to the past, from the past to the future, we talk about everything in and around and in between. What do you guys think, fans? What do you guys think are the pyramid chambers? Those 8 cylindrical columns with steps. Comment below. Let us know what you think about that. Just like all the topics. If you find something silly that you want us to talk about, comment below or go over to pjandwh.com. Hop over to the Contact Us page and let us know what silly little podcast topic you guys would like to see us talk about in the future. And, you know, a lot of projects going on. Mike, you got anything out there in the works other than the Moppets?
Yeah. Iron Jaguar is going to be featured in Wingless Comics Air Force #2
Ooh,
as a cameo Gundam robot type thing.
nice.
It's really cool. If you like kaiju, it's a super huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got Iron Jaguar treatment out for editor right now, and I'm in the process of writing Wild Oni #2.
Awesome. Excellent.
Yeah. I just had another project close or pause after issue 1, so hopefully we're gonna get that going again. And I'm about to launch IMP on Substack, and hopefully bring back Comics and Pop Tarts again.
Excellent. I look forward
Sometime in
to
the near
Comics
future.
and Pop Tarts coming back onto this network here. And
Yeah.
another thing I look forward to is the Heroic Awards. They're starting their nominees. I'm looking at one right now. Wiseacre Comics, The Meadows. We're getting back into Heroic Awards season, man. That's they're starting to announce the 2025 nominees. I know a bunch of former guests on Tales of the Hunted have submitted theirs, so I look forward. Perjangers and Wallhangers is working with the Heroic Awards again this year, so look forward to going out there and putting out the content. These guys have the best setup for judging independent comic content, and I look forward to the Heroic Awards, especially all the amazing comics. All these guys are, bar none, amazing, amazing comics that you should absolutely grab. So always want to a little nod over to our friends and family over at the Heroic Awards. Want to make sure that everybody gets excited for that one because that's coming this year. And more silly little podcast all goddamn year, man. We are in a full fucking season right now, swinging up Tales of the Hunted. More Tales of the Hunted coming out. Lug Nuts podcast, another one just came out today as a day of recording this. So we are going on all cylinders over here at Perjangers and Wallhangers with a lot of content coming out for the fans in the future, especially my film in 2027 of The Time Capsule. Which,
So many tentacles.
I don't think we've actually officially announced this. My co-author of the script is one silly little podcast co-host, Michael Florio, right here. The inevitable Mike and the Mat Man did the script for the Time Capsule. Hold my tentacle.
Hold my tentacle.
Working on the first t-shirt right there. Hold my tentacle. That's perfect.
Gears are going, baby. Gears are going.
And of
God,
course,
now we got to make little tentacles to pass around, like little stuffies.
oh,
Yeah.
dude, with a 3D printer, we could make little keychains, like hold my tentacle and have like a little flat tentacle on there. Man. Oh man, coming to Comic Con soon.
Content.
The Perjangers podcast, the Perjangers Media Network podcast merch with all these amazing stuff. We're gonna get some awesome keychains and fucking cozies and t-shirts and posters. We're gonna have a whole bunch of shit for you guys. So,
A t-shirt.
a whole bunch of good stuff in the future, and we try to end off this podcast the same goddamn way every week. Every week, but every podcast, and that's that. We love you, we miss you, and we want to see you next time. Until then, silly on, drive on, and game on, boys and girls. Bye bye.
Don't forget your tentacles.
Bye.